Welcome to all the monks and novices, and welcome to all the faithful lay people. Whether one is a monk or novice or layperson, all Dhamma practitioners want to receive quick results in whatever they do. When lay people work, they want to receive quick results. Isn't that right? If we plant a fruit tree, we want the tree to grow big quickly and give out fruits quickly. Our mind has craving. The thoughts proliferate and the mind isn't peaceful. The mind is suffering just because of this craving. It makes the mind not feel at ease. And it is the same when we practice Dhamma. We want things quickly. We want to know Dhamma quickly. And the world is in an era of material prosperity. But the spiritual qualities in the minds of people, like the Dhamma virtues of patience, effort, and diligence, are getting less these days. When they come to practice Dhamma, they want results quickly. The quicker, the better. We don't want patience, we don't want effort, we want it easy. On this subject, I have one story to share with you from the time when I was with Venerable Ajahn. There was one lay person who came to practice at Wat Nong Pa Pong. After Ajahn had finished giving a Dhamma talk, the lay person paid their respects to Ajahn and asked Ajahn how they should practice for them to gain the quickest results. Ajahn looked at that young person's face and said back instantly, "If you want to gain quick results, then you don't need to do anything." And this is a very bold answer, and an answer that directly answers the question. But we are too dull to know what it means. If we want to practice to get results quickly, and we don't do anything, then what will we gain? And then how should we do this? I really couldn't understand Ajahn answer at that time. Later on, I could reflect on it, that it is like someone who has everything already, like a layperson who is very rich and who has achieved success in life. They are a multi-millionaire. They have happiness from that wealth. And if someone who wanted to be like them as well, they came and asked that rich man, "What do I have to do to gain success like you?" The rich man could answer, "There is no need to do anything." He could answer like this because he was already a rich man. Here, Ajahn is the Dhamma millionaire, so he answered that there is nothing to do because he had nothing more to do. When we want it quickly, there is no need to do anything. Just know that everything is emptiness. But can we do that? But he didn't explain it much back then. He simply said, there is no need to do anything. But when our mindfulness and samadhi, our spiritual concentration is not sufficient enough, and our sila is still not firm and stable, then wisdom hasn't yet arisen. Then we need to have patient endurance. We need to have effort. We have to be very patient in order to gain success. And today I want to share a Zen story about the secret of success. There was once a Zen master who had many disciples. One of the disciples asked the Zen master, "Venerable teacher, what do I have to do so that I can gain success in the practice?" The Zen master then answered, "Today you will learn the most ordinary thing. It's something so easy to do. That is, for all of you, to swing your hands forward as far as possible, then swing your hands behind you as far as possible. Do this 9 repetitions." And then the Zen master showed them as an example. Then he said, "From this day on, do this every day, 300 times in a day. Can you all do it? Are you able to?" The disciple of the Zen master was confused and asked, "For what reason do we have to do this?" He had doubts arise already. The Zen master said that if you can swing your arms like this 300 times each day for a whole year, then you will succeed in your Dhamma practice. You will understand the path that leads to true success. The disciples looked at each other and smiled. This was something so easy and simple. There was nothing hard about it. Doing this, anyone could do it. After that, each of them did this sincerely and did it continuously. Then, after 1 month, the Zen master asked the disciples, "That task of swinging your arms that I gave you, how's it going?" The disciples said that they could do it continuously. Most of the disciples proudly replied that the task their teacher had given them, they hadn't been careless and they were truly intent to practice it. The Zen master nodded in approval and was pleased with the diligence of his disciples, and he said it was very good. Then the next month, the Zen master asked them like before whether the disciples were still doing the task of swinging their arms. It so happened that half of the disciples were still doing it, but the other half of the disciples had doubts arise. They had done it, but didn't gain anything. It felt just the same as before. That meant that it wasn't the path. It was better not to do it. They felt discouraged. They couldn't see how swinging one's arms would gain them success easily. They had doubts, and this obstructed their efforts, so they stopped. Before 3 months had passed, half of the disciples had stopped doing it. After the 1 year given had passed, the Zen master asked them, "The task of swinging your arms that I had given you to gain success, that you all said was easy to do, is there anyone still doing it?" It so happened that there was only one person who had followed the Zen master's instructions. Can you see? It's not as easy as one would think. You said it was easy, but who is still doing it? Only one disciple put up their hand and said proudly, "I am still doing it." The Zen master told all the disciples, "I told you before that after this task had finished, then you would know the path to success. Here, I want to tell you, in this world, the things that are the easiest to do are also the hardest to do. And the hardest things to do can also be the easiest things to do all the same. We can say it's easy, but it's just up to one's determination to get down to doing it. Anyone can do it. But when we say it's hard to do, it's because there are only a few who can sustain that effort for a long time. So can we see that the ones who will gain freedom from suffering do so from their effort? This is as the Buddha taught. All the Buddhas, whose virtue we praise, had great compassion that is unbounded and with no equal. The Buddhas were bodhisattvas with the goal to become a Buddha, and they built their parami, their spiritual perfections, with wisdom as the leading quality, or faith as the leading quality, or patience as the leading quality. And this is something no one can do. It takes such an incredibly long time until the attainment to become a fully enlightened Buddha. Maitreya Buddha was one who built parami with patience as the leading virtue, and so needed even more parami than the Buddha who uses faith or wisdom as the leading quality. So the extent of this practice of patience, I haven't described it with much detail at all. It's like we are comparing a speck of dust to the great earth, that's all, or the sound of a small bird chirping into the boundless sky. So all the Buddhas have great compassion that is unequalled. We all reflect on the great sacrifice of the Buddha, and so we ourselves must train in patience and having effort. Those that have effort are the ones that will be able to escape from all suffering. We must be determined. So the Zen master taught his disciples to have patience and effort, to not have doubts in their practice, that whatever arose, to follow what the teacher had taught them first. And the answer is in one's actions, in walking without stopping. The first step that we walk, and to keep walking without stopping, this will make us get to our destination. We will get to the end of the path all the same. The longest paths start with the first step. The samadhi we say is hard to do. If we do it without stopping and our effort doesn't waver, we try to develop mindfulness. we meditate, we have sila as our foundation, then wisdom will arise. We watch over the mind to train it to not have liking or disliking. We train the mind like this continuously. We keep having recollection in this way. Then in the end, the wisdom, the all-round knowing will arise. We will be able to see according to truth. The suffering in the heart then reduces, and this relies on our patience and effort. And this is what the Zen master was trying to teach the disciples to train in, to have patience. When we have patience and effort, then when we practice and meditate, we will then be able to succeed well in our Dhamma practice. May you grow in blessings.